Freaky Friends. This is Colleen.
This is Margaret.
And we're the Cousins Weird. We are here with you in our pod lab. And we're really close together today.
We're like sitting on the love seat. And
we're sitting on a love seat together because my phone was low and I didn't have another extension cord. It's the whole thing.
The love seat. Remember that show?
No.
The state?
Oh, the state! Yeah,
I'm going to sit on the love seat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they'd do that. They were in, like, cheesy leisure suits.
Yeah. I remember that now. I didn't. But
am I going to sit in the chair? Am I going to sit on the couch? No. I'm going to sit on the love seat.
Well, that's where we are.
We are. We're on the love seat. Because you have to say it like that.
And we can barely fit. But we had to because my phone was dying and I needed to plug it in. So, anyway. Anywho, we had now, you're going to be hearing this on the day after Halloween. Yet today...
It's the day before.
It's the day before Halloween. And we are having a little pumpkin to get together where the kiddos carved pumpkins. And we had lots of yummy snacks and
alcohol.
And we enjoyed some more Burville cider.
In the form of a mimosa with champagne, and holy
delicious.
Crap, is that good.
And for this episode, we're drinking a bloody margarita again because vampires and blood. Because we are continuing down the path of horrific things, as usual.
Yes, because you can't go too long without something terrible.
Yes. So, we don't really have anything new.
And we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
My kid does not have COVID. That's always fun.
Yes, yay. No COVID.
No fever today.
No. And
no snot coming out of her nose. It's great.
Right.
Like, when you wake up and there's no body fluid leaking out of your child, it's a good day.
It's a good day.
Very good day.
And, don't forget, you can still enter to win our giveaway from Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that on our Facebook and Instagrams and tag your 3 friends. You
want to know how to win? You gotta listen to the Burville Cider Mill
right.
episode.
You have to listen to the episode before. So there. Do it. So today we're talking about Countess Bathory.
And her bloody awful shit.
She was bloody awful. Her name is Erzsabet, but it's like our way of saying our Elizabeth. So Elizabeth Bathory. There's so many stories about, and there's so many things in like pop culture, music, movies that reference Elizabeth Bathory, the Countess Bathory, the vampire countess, the Countess of Blood. There's so many things, and it's all based off the story of Countess Bathory, Elizabeth Bathory. And she was born August 7th in 1560. And I'm going to butcher these names because they're Hungarian.
We did that with you're going through what I went through with the Vlad Tepes one.
Yeah, because it's the same area. Around the same time.
Vlad Drago.
And it makes you realize that people were just awful then.
Yeah,
in general.
At the time.
It's just really a bad time to be alive.
Yeah.
In Nagyészid, Hungary. It starts with an N. And there's a lot of letters after it, and only 2 vowels. So let's just say I can't say it, but it starts with an N, and it's in Hungary, and she lived there. And it was right near the Romanian border. Now, her family, the Bathory family, had a great amount of power at the time. They owned a lot of stuff. They were super smart, the family was, and they were intelligent, and they knew how to win battles. They had strategic plans and stuff. They were super smart. And that's how they're able to gain so much power, because their family was probably a little ruthless too.
You kind of had to be.
Yeah. Her parents actually came from 2 separate branches of the Bathory clan. The Bathory clan was very large because inbreeding.
Yeah, inbreeding.
But her parents, they're inbred, but they were from 2 different branches of the Bathory. Both are Bathories, but there was 2 branches of the Bathory clan because it was so big. And the Bathorys were mostly just kept on inbreeding and inbreeding.
It was common back then?
Yeah, because you had to. She had uncles that were voivods of Transylvania. So they're princes.
Voivods. That's the princes. Basically dukes or princes.
Yeah, they said it was princes, which basically we talked about that in Dracula. And one of her uncles was the king of Poland. So they had a lot of power. People, their family, they were all noble people, and they all sat and there was a lot of them.
That area of the world too, that was like great. It butted up against the Ottoman Empire, which was like the Turks, and
that's what we're going to talk a little bit about.
So I mean, it's that weird area where it's like kind of like in modern times it would be like the Middle East meets Russia,
right?
Basically, that Eastern Europe like area there.
Yep. She had 2 older brothers, Istavan and Gaber. They don't say much what happens to Gaber. I don't know what happened to him. And she has 2 sisters, Sophia. It started with a Z and an S, so it's I think it's Sophia. You just don't pronounce it. Sophia and Clara. And they spent their growing formative years, very young years, before the age of 11, right near that Romanian border in that town in Hungary, which I can't say the name of. This time, big wars between the Catholics and Protestants, happening. Bloody.
What year?
This was in the 1560.
This is right after Vlad.
Yes, so these things
not long. I mean, it's like probably within 100 years after.
And there were some things I read that said that there was some kind of lineage between them, like they were somehow related somehow, which would make sense. Mm-hmm. Everyone was related probably in that area. Mm-hmm. Basically, the Bathory clan took up half the population alone. So, her family was devout Protestants, and they were all for the Protestant Reformation and taking over everything. And they were good at winning wars and the bloody battles and stuff. Her childhood home, this is funny, was described as an insane asylum of dysfunctional, inbred lunatics.
Oh, yeah.
So, really, did she have any hope?
Probably not.
Her brother, Istavan, was considered a sexual sadist and fiend.
Oh, nice.
And a drunk. And he would run around naked in the marketplace, yelling and hollering and trying to have sex with people.
That's terrible.
And this brother ended up living out his life and just being crazy.
Yikes.
They don't talk much about her sisters either, or the other brother. She had an Aunt Clara, that was a known lesbian, which probably was not something people talked about back then. She was, they said that she practiced witchcraft. She killed her husband, and she liked to teach Erzsabet how to torture servants.
Isn't that nice?
Their family, it was a time where if you weren't a noble person, you treated anyone below you very cruelly.
They weren't equal to you.
No, and they were just things to be thrown away.
They're just servants. There's more. Yeah. You just go out to the village and get 3 more.
Exactly. So that's how they felt in general.
And it's so sad.
Yeah, her father had a favorite chair that he refused to get out of. He would eat, sleep, and bathe, and he had to have that chair.
That is
just
nutty.
Weird,
That's
nutty
nutty.
things.
It's inbred. Inbred, don't be inbred, please.
No,
don't do it.
Don't inbreed for many reasons, but that's one of them. Don't do that. At a young age, this is just to say the things she witnessed, just as an example of things she witnessed. Someone did something wrong. One of the peasants did something wrong. So their punishment was that they were punished by being sewn into the body of a horse with their head sticking out until they died. They just stayed inside the horse until they died.
That's horrible!
What sick person would even think to do that to someone?
God,
I don't know.
That's so awful!
Mental illness was rampant in that family, and they had a lot of it, I think, inbreeding. You see that, in royal families, that mental health is not a strength for them. Mm-mm. When she was younger, she suffered from seizures, which inbreeding. And not that everyone has seizures as inbred, but
gives you lobe damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not going to go right when there's generations of inbreeding. She had fits of rage. Her father was the same. Rageful people, just so mad all the time, and just took their anger out on anyone around them. And later in life, she would talk about in her letters to people, of extreme head and eye pain all the time. She probably had migraines, I'm assuming.
Oh, probably.
She had
Especially
seizures and stuff. She had stuff going
pressure.
on. So there was, not only did she have inbreeding against her when it comes to her mental health, but she also had like physical things happening in her head too that would affect her mental health. So she just had it all coming at every side.
That sounds awful.
No, it doesn't sound good. And like I said, during this time, it was common to be very cruel to servants. You did what you wished or pleased with them. She received an amazing education. Her family, one good thing about her family was that they believed that women needed the same amount of education as men.
Well, that was great. So rare for the time.
Very rare. It was very, very few noble people at the time could even read or write, and they'd actually have their servants learn that stuff and do it for them. So at a time where there's like no education happening really at all for anyone, that family really believed in that, and they were very intelligent for being inbred. And like I said, a lot of nobles could not even read and write at the time, and she knew how to read and write. She could speak like 4 languages. And she loved science, astronomy, botany, biology, and anatomy, which kind of plays into some of the stuff that happens later in life. She was a tomboy and demanded to be treated the same as boys. She wore boys' clothes when she was little. She played boys' games when she was little. And she would throw gigantic fits of rage if she didn't get her way. So I think basically they're like, okay, do whatever you want because we don't want to deal with you. Probably. Because she was probably a little shithead. And she was too smart for her own good, almost, you know?
Right.
But she also loved to be like a lady and look like a lady when she wanted to. Like, she decided when she wanted to do those things. So, at age 11, because back then this happened, she was engaged to 16-year-old Count Ferenc Nadasti.
She was 11?
She was 11, he was 16.
Okay. That's gross.
Which was basically a business deal, and that's how it was. It was about power and money, basically, how it happened. Ferenc, it's F-E-R-E-N-C, Ferenc. His father passed away when he was younger, and his mother, the Countess Erzsabet, Nadazi. I can't say any of these names. Look them up on Google. You'll figure it out. Okay? I can't say them. I can't say regular words. How am I going to say these words? She had to plan for their future, and she was worried about things. And as he was getting older, now he's 16, he was very skilled warrior. Like, he was trained to be a warrior. He was very strong. He was very athletic, but not very bright. So she knew she had to find a wife for him that was intelligent and strong, and someone that had equal or more wealth than they did, from a good, powerful family. She knew he needed that because they would not be taken care of, because he was like, he could be a warrior and go out and do all this stuff, but he wouldn't be able to manage the estates. He wouldn't be able to do that. He just didn't have the intelligence for it. And she had heard of Erzsabet and her superior intelligence and beauty, and she knew of the Bathory family because apparently Erzsabet was gorgeous at the time. She was beautiful. And her family was super powerful in general because they had princes and they had all noble people and they had kings in their family line. And at the time, young noble girls who were engaged at a young age, they would move into the estate of the future husband, to be trained in social training, like what to do, how to be the lady of the house, how to take care of the estate, how to do all that part. So she had to go there as soon as she was engaged. So she moved out from her family.
At age 11.
At age 11. And moved in with this new family. Erzsabet and the Countess, Ferenc's mom, did not really like each other. And Erzsabet, it was like a culture shock for her because she lived in the countryside, and when she moved in with the